Hi, everyone. I'm Joe Cahill. I'm the Chief Customer Officer for PMI. I'm joined here today by Adam Selverian. He's the VP of Project Management at Accelerant. Thank you for joining us here today, Adam.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Let's just get it started. Let's just jump right in. I want you to at least start off by just getting the audience a little comfortable with what you do.
Sure.
And what you do day to day at Accelerant.
Yeah, all right, very good. So as you mentioned, I'm the Vice President of the Project Management Office at Accelerant. We are in the process right now of building up our PMO. Historically, over my career, I've been 23 years, my gosh, I can't believe that, in the project management space, alongside working with PMI. And over those years, from a career standpoint, I went ahead and created, managed PMOs at the national and the global level.
So you've produced this video series that I had the pleasure of watching, the PMO of the Future, and it's published on our projectmanagement.com website. Can you tell the audience a little bit about the series? You know how you contemplated it in the first place?
Sure. Sure, it's a very crazy story, to be honest. So several years ago, I went ahead and I wrote a book on how to create the PMO of the future. So I spent a lot of time on it, went through various drafts. So then what I did was I called Erica Grenfell, who's been absolutely fantastic here at the PMI, told her what I had, and collectively we came up with the idea of, well, listen, instead of publishing it and going through all of that, how about if we just go ahead and create a video series, right? Just take the main concepts of each chapter and go ahead and jump on in front of a camera for about 15 minutes. And we did it over the consecutive 6 months, and it's been absolutely fantastic, the response that I got. So it's been really great.
Bite-sized chunks, but in totality, it's very thorough.
Yeah, it's very thorough. And basically what it does is hand-holding the video watchers from beginning to end, right? So for example, the topics were, current state analysis, like where's the company right now? The gap analysis, the governance of it all, and being able to customize the right PMO to the organization to make sure that it was the right fit. So it worked out really, really well.
And one of the things that appealed to me in the series was the fact that it's not a static thing. The PMO is constantly evolving.
Constantly evolving. Connecting the right PMO to the business strategies is absolutely key. And when you do that, you got to be flexible. Right. And that was some of the feedback that I received when folks were watching that video, were like, oh, I didn't realize you could be so flexible, that, you are a partner with the organization and those stakeholders to be successful.
And you've done this across industries. So tell us about the importance of culture, because when you're going from company to company, industry to industry, you have different cultures.
What happens is many people think, oh, the PMO, they're coming in, they're going to put a lot of rules and regulations, and that's really not the case at all. One of the first things you need to do is when you get into that organization, wherever it might be, whatever industry, you got to really get a sense of the culture. And then you customize that PMO to fit that culture to be successful, right?
That's very important.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's turn a little bit to you talk about the PMO of the future. Tell us about the skills, the mindset, the tools that you see are needed in the PMO of the future.
A lot of the tools that we're seeing is a lot of audio visual, to be honest with you, right? You got Microsoft Teams, you got WebEx, you got these tools that are being baked in, especially Microsoft Teams, where you can bake in not only the audio visual, but you have tools within the application to help manage these projects, to communicate. And it's not just a national thing, it's a global thing, right? Which it makes things, so much better and more efficient, right? A lot of people are, talking about PPM tools, which are really good. But, from my experience and from where I found the most success, the PMOs are based on the culture, it's based on people, and really removing obstacles for that organization to be successful when they're rolling out these projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
So PMI, we do a lot of research through the years, right?
Yeah.
And our research continues to find that different ways of working are expanding, right? And not only the ways of working, say traditional project management, Agile, hyper Agile, what we call system development, and then the hybrid approaches that blends them all together. And then there's power skills that underpin that, the people skills. What do you think about the importance of choice across all those dynamics, right?
Yeah. I think that is the answer, is choice. I think that's what people, that's part of the flexibility and the agility of a really good PMO. When you're rolling out the PMO, it's really important to understand that projects are people, right? That's what it's really about, right? Understanding that, the Agile way, I'll tell you that there's a huge increase in Agile project management, just based on everything that's been going on with the world and based on these organizations growing so fast. And it's been really, really successful. I know the hybrid piece is pretty much where, in my experience, where we land, just because it's very hard to take any one Agile methodology and lay it right over. It's back to my first comment, where you have to go ahead and understand the culture and the strategy of the organization. But I will tell you, Agile is up and coming. It's growing, and people are finding it very, very successful. Not just in IT, but in operations and business. People are able to have that flexibility to change their mind, to make changes quickly, to turn it around, and to get from development to production pretty quickly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is a community of people out there that think the PMOs aren't needed. So what do you say to them?
I think they're absolutely critical. If done correctly, they're absolutely critical. When you have a project management office, it's a great tool to have, because you'll be able to mold it towards that organization. Right. For example, I went on one of the best trainings I had was sponsored by the PMI, I guess years and years ago, and it was about creating a PMO. Like, what do you do? And the instructor gave us a list of 250 responsibilities that a PMO could have. Right. And the instructor said, you know what? Go through it, pick out only 10 that would make it successful in your organization. Right. And that resonated with me, and I've taken that with me.
So again, it's choice.
It's choice. It's there's so many different types of PMOs and stuff like that. PMOs should be built to remove obstacles, to make sure that the culture, the company can grow quickly by using the PMO. Mm-hmm. It's not like an organization comes in and heavy regulation. It's none of that. Right. It's customized based on what the leadership needs that PMO to do to make the organization successful.
Okay. So you're at Penn State too. You do a lot of different things. So you're the lead instructor, for project management at Penn State. Yeah. Tell us about that experience. Tell us about the students. Many of them, obviously most of them are young. Others are in there to make a career change, right? Get new skills. Tell us what they're saying, what you're hearing from them.
So the number one thing that I get constantly is they appreciate so much the real life application. Right. So I'm an adjunct instructor, obviously. So when the students come in, they're professionals. Right. Either they're really early in their career, they want to make that next step, or they've been in it for 25, 30 years and they need to know the change. But time and time again, the feedback that we've gotten is, thank you so much for telling us the real world. So, we have the application of what project management should be. You have the academic, right? Of course, you have the PMP and all that good stuff, but it's what works. How does it work in the real world? Right. So the Penn State program allows the student to learn on a Thursday night, for example, and then apply it on Friday. There you go. And then the next Thursday when they come, they can give us feedback saying, listen, you gave us 7 things to try. We did all 7. 6 of them work, great. And then, so by the time they're done the course or especially the program, they know exactly what works and doesn't work within their organization. Okay. The other thing that's really important is the networking, and we focus a little bit on their careers as well. Like, why do they want to be PMs and all that other good stuff? So there's a lot of that type of mentoring that goes on as well.
Excellent. So students get inspiration. They make the choices through inspiration more often than not. Mm-hmm. What can you tell the audience about what inspired you, either as a student or during your career?
I actually went through the Penn State program, my gosh, I graduated from it in 2002. Mm-hmm. And it was such a positive experience. I went ahead, I asked for a job to teach. I went ahead, I got my certification, my PMP, and then I've been teaching for the past 17 years. And a lot of that is, it's not just your traditional academics. And I think that's really important, because what happens is when you go through the program, what I felt going through the program was, again, that real world application. I made a lot of great contacts. I still talk to some of my friends that I made, friends with, students, and it's just such a positive experience. And for me, not only to have a positive experience going through the program, but then for me to start teaching it and still be teaching it after 17 years. And, quite frankly, the collaboration that Penn State has with the PMI, Penn State Great Valley with PMI, it's been absolutely fantastic.
There you go. And PMI were all about the career journey as well.
Yeah, it's really important, the PMI, because we have a direct access to PMI just because of the PMP and all the certifications. My gosh, when I was When I got my PMP, there was only 2 or 3 certifications. I think we're up to 9 now. And not only that, PMI offers all the tools and stuff, to get these certifications, and just, it's a really, really good collaboration. Everything just really fits nicely to make things easy.
We feel really strongly about investing in the future, continually to evolve ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the profession's changing, the needs of companies are changing.
And I think that's a great selling point, Joe, because what happens is, I get a lot of questions when I'm in front of the class, right? And I make that comment. I said, guys, you got to jump on it, because the PMP, these certifications, the PMI, are ever evolving. So you want to stay in front of it. You want to stay current. So, stay in contact. Whether you want your PMP or not, it's fine. I mean, my gosh, just being a member is important as well, right? So
there's lots to learn.
Lots to learn.
Lifelong learning is what we all have to do. I think it's clear that we've seen that in our research, and that's the expectation of our org partners.
Yeah, for sure.
PMI has really put a lot of new offerings out in the marketplace. What are your thoughts on some of them? Or even more generically, what do you think about PMI and their evolution?
It's absolutely fantastic. So as we go through our program at Penn State, Great Valley, the PMP is obviously the top hit, right? So it's really good that the PMI, refreshes it, redoes the test every 3 to 5 years. It keeps things current. I know that Agile is a big thing as well right now. So that's really a hot topic, and I'm really glad the PMI is doing that. The 9 other offerings that you have, the certifications, people are constantly asking me, and they're very interested, especially the scheduling. That seems to be a topic of interest for the students as well.
Right. And we're moving more into the Agile space with our Discipline Agile offering. We have design thinking. So it's really a broad sense of, as we talked about earlier, different ways of working to provide our stakeholders with those choices. Whereas before we transformed the company, we only had that one choice. Right. So we're really happy to do that for our stakeholders.
Yeah, and it's great because I think the students and those in the profession are becoming more well-rounded with all of these offerings, right? Exactly. You're just not stuck in one, well, you got to get your PMP or you got to get your risk. It depends on the need of their career, and it's great that, the offerings are there.
The breadth of need for a project manager, it just keeps growing. So they have to continually update their skills.
Absolutely, it does.
Well, thank you, Adam. I really appreciate your time here today. Great. This is fantastic.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations again on your video series.
Thank you.
The PMO of the Future.
Yep.
And thank you most importantly for your volunteerism with PMI through the years.
It's an absolute joy. Thank you.
Thank you.